All right, so today we've got 3 segments. They are super exciting. We got 5 guests. That's awesome. Let's have people introduce themselves to start with. Let's start with Allie. Allie, say hi to the people. Tell them what you do for
Hello,
New Relic.
everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Allie. I'm at Ending with Allie on everything, including Minecraft. So if you're live here on Twitch, you can check me out. I stream almost every day because I Twitch stream cool tech things, including things that involve New Relic. I am a senior developer relations engineer, and I'm super excited to be here.
I love it. And now let's have Sten say hi. Sten, say hi to the people. Tell them what you do for New Relic.
Hey everyone, I'm gonna say good evening because I am actually based out of Europe. I live somewhere between Barcelona, Belgium. I travel a bit back and forth. I'm a senior director of product management at New Relic. I'm heavily focused on something we call developer enablement. So how can we make it super easy for developers around the world to get observability? Is really what I care about.
I really, really like that. Thank you so much for joining us. I've got a little bit of audio chaos in my headphones, so just one sec while I try to get that working. Okay. Let's try closing this. All right. Sorry about that. Just 1 second, folks. I'm getting the audio from 5 seconds ago into my headphones directly, so that's going to drive me insane. So 1 sec.
Sometimes
let's talk about what we're talking about today. We're talking about New Relic I/O, which I thought was maybe a conference that was going to happen. I thought everyone was like, New Relic I/O is coming up, and I thought we were going to have a conference. But that is not actually New Relic I/O. This is New Relic Instant Observability. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, here comes instant observability, right? So this is a new, completely new experience that we have launched at New Relic. And New Relic I/O is more than just like a feature or a product. It's really an ecosystem. And so what we're doing with New Relic I/O is we're bringing observability building blocks to users across the world. And so really the idea is that we want to make it super easy for any developer to get started with observability super fast. The other thing we're after is we want to make it so simple that there is no need for spending hours of getting your tools and your instrumentation up and running. And then finally, what we're trying to achieve here is we're building a community where we can share best practices with an ecosystem of like-minded developers, experts from New Relic, from our partners, from our customers, to really kind of benefit from the wide variety of expertise we have out there around the world. So that's really what New Relic I/O is about. And at its heart, New Relic I/O consists of a couple of things. Let me talk about that in a bit more detail. And then after kind of setting this context, we'll dive into a demo, and I'll show you how you can use New Relic I/O and how you can contribute yourself to New Relic I/O as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what's inside New Relic I/O? And what's inside New Relic I/O is we call them Quickstarts. And a Quickstart is really a package that contains everything you need to monitor your environment, to get observability for your environment out of the box. So it includes the instrumentation, the integration. So this is responsible for gathering the data from your systems, from your applications, as well as the dashboards and the alerts. So you can act on the data, so you can visualize the data, analyze the data, and understand what's happening in your environment. So by combining the instrumentation, these dashboards and alerts, you really get everything you need to understand, to troubleshoot your environments and the technologies you care about. Now, we want to make it easy, right?
So but I'm just
instead of having to follow manual steps on how to collect, instrument the system, we're working to offer a automatic guided install experience for all of these quick starts. So we want to make it super simple for you to just like follow a wizard, copy a command, and deploy our agents. And so during the demo, we'll see how this works. But really the goal for us is to get you up and running in 5 minutes. We'll see in the demo like how that works. And then finally,
what I really like about this is it's kind of been an obsession of mine that, New Relic's a big company. A lot of observability companies are big now, doing major, operations with a bunch of enterprises, and that's fantastic. But the thing that's kind of wild to me is that most things are not observed. Most developers don't work with observability tools closely. A lot of new services and new features are launched without really an observability plan. It's very often introduced as like an operations thing way after the fact, which, that's great to be doing. But that is kind of interesting to me that, we as this big company can still look and say, we need to go out and share this with a bunch more people and expand out a lot further with, who can actually use it. And especially as we have all these partners now and we can add metrics from them as well, it's like, how do you get started with that? That's something you really need to share with people.
Yeah, totally. And I think you hit on something important here. Like not many people understand, what should I be monitoring? What are the metrics I should be caring about? And that's really what we want to make super easy with New Relic IO. Like New Relic and the community, they have an opinion about what's important for a specific use case. And if you're a developer and you're writing a Java application, .NET, whatever it might be, you care about a technology stack, but you don't know what do I need to properly monitor this stack. And that's really where New Relic IO steps in. You search for the technology you care about, for the stack you care about, the framework you care about, and New Relic IO will help you identify what you need to get observability.
And something that might be interesting is, so like New Relic is already like pretty blazingly fast to get started. What was the inspiration? And maybe you could tie it into this slide you're showing here, but like, what was the inspiration behind this?
Yeah, so what we really wanted to make super easy is the sharing and the community building. For example, there are customers of ours who have great expertise with very specific technologies. Let's say maybe they're running huge Kafka clusters. So what we want to do is we want to make it easy for those customers, those users, also to contribute their expertise back to the ecosystem and to the community. So what they can actually do now is say, hey, I actually have this super awesome dashboard to monitor my Kafka environment. I can share it with the community, and everyone can now easily use it with the click of a button as part of New Relic IO.
And it says here, leveraging best practices from domain experts. I imagine that this ties directly into what you just said.
Exactly. And not only our customers, but we have also opened this up to our partners. And so the interesting thing here is that this actually allows kind of our customers to tap into other experiences. For example, security monitoring. For example, understanding how your CDN is performing. So there are other adjacent kind of markets that where our partners have great products for that can easily be used now right from the gate at New Relic IO.
So now I want to see this work. Can we witness?
We definitely can. So let's have a look. So let's do some demoing. So this is a public site available at developer.newrelic.com /instant observability, or you click on kind of the top menu if you're on our developer site. And what you will find here currently, we have over 400 quick starts available. So as I mentioned, like each quick start focuses on a specific use case or a specific technology. And this is really the homepage. So this is the experience where you can search for the technology, the framework you care about. On the left-hand side here, you can see kind of these categories. So for example, if you're using Kubernetes containers, you could zoom into this category and easily see, what is the New Relic ecosystem supporting related to Kubernetes? And, in this case, I can see, EKS is supported, Azure containers, we have GCP Cloud Run, we have if you're running Kubernetes on your own, there is a specific quick start for Kubernetes. So you can easily identify kind of all of the different quick starts related to Kubernetes and containers in this case. Yeah.
Love that.
So the other thing, kind of, you will see here is the search box here. So what I've typically seen with the kind of the developers we work with is, they have a very specific stack they care about. So imagine that I'm a Node.js developer. I type in here Node.js, and immediately I can see that there is this specific Node.js Quickstarts. But what if I'm using like maybe the Express Node.js framework, like a very specific framework that I care about? I can also type that into the search box, and I can see that there is actually a specific Quickstart for the Express framework. So this really allows me to easily find, the technologies I care about. If I do a more generic search term, let's say Node.js, it shows me the core, more generic Node.js Quickstart, but it also shows me the related Quickstart specific frameworks that I might also be interested in.
Yeah, because we're probably not just running Node by itself. Like Express is a good guess, or Happy, or these other things that are in here.
Totally, yes. But so let's have a look what's inside. Any one of these quick starts. So if I click on one of these quick starts, I'm taken to a page that gives me some more information. And really, the important thing here is what's included. What comes packaged inside this quick start. In this case, it comes packaged with a dashboard and a couple of alerts. So a user can immediately understand, what do I get if I'm going to use this quick start? I'm going to get an awesome dashboard. I'm going to get a couple of alerts that will help me, proactively monitor my environment and get notified when something goes wrong. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we want to make it super easy to get started. So I've been spending too much time actually explaining what it is. We should just dive into it. So of course, we want to install it, right? Yeah.
I mean, also something for people who don't use New Relic is that being able to have these pre-made dashboards is nice, because like you would have had to build them yourself otherwise. And I think that's what makes this so different from just a regularly using New Relic, is that this is pre-built for you, for those who don't know.
Yeah, and a big piece is like what actually matters to observe, right? So, for a lot of us, maybe if we are developers, we're not like operations people, or maybe but either way, is to say, oh, well, I want to measure like the available memory on my node server. It's like, yeah, you do, but like stuff like AppDex score is a much more detailed view of like how you're actually performing for users. So it's good to present something here about like, here's that concept.
Yeah. You will actually find some explanation here as well. What's important to monitor. So you'll find things like the AppDex score explained here, CPU load, things like that. So we'll give information about, what's important if you want to monitor your Node.js application. So yeah, let's get started. Let's install this quick start. So I click on this button here, and this takes me to New Relic 1. So if you don't have an account yet, you can sign up for an account. In this case, I have multiple accounts. So it's basically asking me to confirm what account I want to use. Here is a summary of what we're going to do. So we're going to be deploying a dashboard. We're going to be deploying 3 alerts, and we're going to deploy the node agent. So this is the agent that is responsible for gathering the information about the node application itself.
Really quickly, can you zoom in your screen a little bit?
I definitely can.
Give me a zoom in and enhance.
Give us like a real big one.
One more. I need it.
Like this?
Let's go one more. Perfect.
Oh, I love it. Zoom now. Yeah.
All right. Begin installation. I'm not sure what the UI is going to look like after zooming in this much, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
so
see.
Of course, folks, because Twitch makes us like the low res, we got to do the slightly zoomed in version. So we may have to zoom back out to get a few things to display right, but yeah, this is always how we gotta look at things in the lost my reading glasses mode.
This actually still looks fine, so let's move forward with this zoom level. All right, so right now we're starting our installation. New Relic is guiding us through the process of how do I get this agent installed. So let's click on begin installation. So what we're going to do now is so there are some instructions here, and New Relic is telling me, okay, you need to copy and run this command on your server. So what I can do is I can go ahead and click on this button here, copy command. There's some more info on here, which is a little bit like small. I like behind the scroll bars right now. But basically, the only thing I need to do is copy that command. I'm going to resize my screen a little bit and pull my terminal up. Let's see. I can also make this a bit bigger. There we go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and paste this on my terminal window. So as we can see, starting installation, it's asking for my super secret root password. And so what we're now going to do is, first of all, the installer is going to check the connectivity with the New Relic platform to make sure everything is all right. We can send data to New Relic. In just a second, as you can see here, it will ask me, okay, do you want to install the node agent? Yes, of course. That's why we're here. And so what we'll be doing now is we'll be installing a package on our server. And it's asking me in this case to, okay, give your application a name. So keeping it simple for today's demo and just calling it demo.
And that'll be the name that's displayed within the New Relic UI for you or other people when they're looking back at the New Relic dashboard to see which application this is applied with.
Yes, exactly. So we'll see this in a minute. We'll be able to see all of the data for the demo application that we're instrumenting right now. So as you can see, this took like, I don't know, a minute. The installation is complete. It was successful. And in the meantime, let me resize this a little bit. So this is actually all we had to do on the server. We just needed to copy paste this one command. The instrumentation is automatically installed. It detects the node process. And in the meantime, the Node.js dashboard and the alerts are being deployed. Of course, now I want to see it in action, right? I want to see the data. So let's click on the See Your Data button. And this brings me to the dashboard that was part of this Quickstarts. This is zoomed in a little bit, but I think it's doable. I think you can.
We got it. It all fit. It fits.
All right. Let's go now.
So big cat in a little box, you know?
Yeah. So this dashboard starts with an overview. Like, what are the high-level things you should care about? And
is this new for I/O? This view that we're looking at right here.
This is this is actually interesting. This is actually a dashboard for Node.js that was contributed to by one of our partners, experts, Node.js consultants. Wow. So that's really the cool thing. We have like partners, people from New Relic, customers contributing to these dashboards and experiences. So
that's how we know it's good.
Yeah.
It's tested and tried.
Exactly. So the first row here, we have an kind of an overview that talks about the number of transactions. Now note, this number is quite high. So I've been running this demo application today because I wanted to have some data to show to you. And so what this tells me is I've already processed, or my application has already processed over 38,000 transactions, so requests coming in. What I can see here is that the average duration is actually quite high. So it takes over a second for my application to respond back to a request coming in.
I mean, that seems fast to me, but okay. All right. 1 second, too long.
Yeah, too long. We always want better, faster. Yeah, right. The other thing that worries me a little bit here is the success rate. Yeah, why is this not 100%? Now it's 87%. So we're going to come back to this. We want to dive deeper into.
So success rate is transactions that raise no errors.
Exactly. So the transactions that were successful. So it tells me that there were some that failed. So let's come back to this. Why did they fail? What's happening here?
That one does seem high. We definitely don't want, which have more than a 1 in 5 chance of hitting an error.
Yeah. Now here you get a little bit more details. So what is the percentage of failed transactions? How many failed transactions do you have? And then at the bottom of this dashboard, we get an overview of the load on our virtual machine. So how much CPU are we consuming, and how much memory are we using? Now, as I mentioned, we want to dive a bit deeper. So there are some additional tabs here on this dashboard. So I can look at some more detailed metrics related to our errors. I can look at some other virtual machine metrics. The interesting thing here is you can visualize the data in many different ways. So what's typically interesting around resource utilization is to look at the trends over time. So for example, in this case here, we can see, and guess what this spike is? So, it was fairly stable. And then we see the spike, I would say like 4 minutes ago. and I would guess this is probably related to when we were installing the agents. So when we saw an increase in CPU load. So there is this is interesting to start kind of understanding what's happening on your environment. Now, these dashboards are great as a starting point. This can be your go-to dashboard when you come to the office at the morning. You want to see, okay, what's been going on. If something goes wrong, of course, you want to be alerted. So we'll have a look at the alerts later. But I already noticed here that the success rate was not 100%. So I want to dive deeper. I want to troubleshoot this. And if I want to troubleshoot, I want to really use the APM capabilities of New Relic. And so you see this header here on the top of the dashboard. It tells me, dive deeper to troubleshoot, to look at the transaction details, distributed tracing, etc. So I'm gonna do this. I'm clicking on Explorer. I will have to filter on my account. Like I mentioned, I have a bunch of accounts I have access to, so let me do that quickly. And then we'll see our demo application here. So this is the New Relic Explorer. It basically makes it easy for me to see all of the what we call entities that I have in my environments. Now, in this case, and for this demo, we only care about that demo application that we just instrumented. So let's click on the demo service here. Now, this is where the full power of the Relic's APM capabilities come into play. And so, remember earlier I mentioned that we seem to have an issue with our transactions. So what I want to do is I have this tab here called errors. So I want to analyze my errors in more detail. So let's click there and let's see what we can find.
Quick question. So is what you're showing us now, these aren't custom dashboards created from New Relic IO?
The previous
or are
they?
The these
one.
aren't. These okay.
This is an APM view. The previous one was a dashboard that comes packaged within the Quickstarts. Yeah. But the cool thing is that these Quickstarts link into other New Relic capabilities that you should be using. So that's really the power of guiding you through. Hey, here's what you need if you want to troubleshoot. In this case, this Node.js application deeper. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
So we have some errors. I see this table here. Let's click on this to analyze in more detail what's happening.
Yeah, I really like starting with an error percentage because one thing that really is on my mind is a sense of scale, right? Like saying, hey, you respond within a second, that's right. If that's a page load, we're fine, right? Even if it's the back end time of a page load, you're probably fine. But getting a sense of like, okay, you have 400 errors, that doesn't mean as much as hey, that's a huge percentage of your total transactions.
Totally. Yeah. All right. This is a live demo, so I just had to quickly play around a little bit. But this is what I wanted to show. So, what's happening? What's going wrong? Errors are being triggered. Now, this is a demo application. Of course, I'm playing around a little bit here. And what we see here in this error message, so we see a stack trace. So a stack trace for kind of, all developers are familiar with this, but basically when an error is or occurs, it creates a stack trace, so you can see, in what part of your source code did the problem occur and what was the problem. And so what we can see here is that the error message tells me no such table. Test wrong table doesn't exist.
Yeah, this is so powerful just because it's the kind of thing I mention all the time, which is imagine you're looking at this in the middle of the night, right? And you're like, who do I wake up with this problem? The problem's on the front end, so I should wake up the front end team, right? But in this case, we have a really good sense. We might not even have to wake up if we have like a DBA. We might not even have to wake them up because we know, hey, the query is going to the wrong table, right? Probably going to point the DBA. It's like, hey, did the table move or something? But imagine that you're this operations person or SRE person. You're not able to give such a more accurate view of here's what was actually going on, not just, hey, everybody get out of bed because we know something is happening that's bad for users. We don't know what it is or why, right? We can actually zoom pretty quickly into, if not a root cause, then certainly a very strong clue.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the power of observability we see right here. And Actually, if I scroll down a bit more, I can actually see at what exact line of code we're having the problem. So it seems to be on line 29 of my app.js file. So I immediately know, oh, here's where I need to go to fix my problem. Sweet.
That.
Cool. So this is kind of how we started from the high-level dashboard, getting a sense of what's happening in our environment, and then we drilled down into our APM views to understand the stack traces, to see the errors in more detail. The other thing I quickly want to show is alerts. So I mentioned that there are alerts as part of the... sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Yeah, no worries, we'll get there. So this specific Node.js Quick Start came bundled with 3 alerts. So in just a second, this will be shown on the screen here. And if I jump into the Node.js alert policy, let me quickly dive into here. Oh, I might have clicked on the wrong. Yeah, this is my test environment, so I might have had an older one here. Oh, I did have an older one. Sorry, it's this one. So this is the alert. We call this an alert policy. It basically groups related alerts into like one group. And what we can see here are the details about, when is New Relic going to alert me if something goes wrong? So in this case, New Relic will send out an alert if the amount of errors is higher than a specific threshold. You can see the threshold here. If the AppDex score is lower than a specific value, and AppDex basically tells you something about the responsiveness of your application, so how fast your application is responding to requests that are coming in. And then
those who are new, which hopefully is a number of people watching this, AppDex is a really good way to get a sense of how are we doing for most users, right? Are lots of users having bad experiences, even if it's just kind of bad, but it's happening for a lot of users.
Yes. And then the final one here is related to the load on my system. So, and typically, if you have a high CPU load on your system, it impacts your application, meaning that your application will be slower to respond. So this is a good indication of or a good metric to keep an eye on. All right, cool. So we talked about how do you discover a quick start for a technology, a framework you care about. I showed you how you deploy an agent. It took like a couple of minutes. We looked at the dashboards. What if you have a dashboard and you're improving it? So let me maybe go quickly back to the Node.js dashboard here. I hope this is the right one. It doesn't really matter. What I really want to show is, so here we have a dashboard. This is actually not the correct one. You see, this one is broken. It doesn't matter. What I want to show is, let's imagine that you're making a change to this dashboard. You're an expert in Node.js or in any other technology. You're making a change to this dashboard. Well, you can easily contribute this back to the Relic.io ecosystem. So what you can do is you can click on this button here, copy the JSON to the clipboard. So this is like the configuration of the dashboards. And then what you can do is you can go to our quick starts. So New Relic quick starts, and let me zoom in here as well. You can go to our New Relic quick starts GitHub repository. And what you will find here is a directory called quick starts. And then, for example, in the example of our Node.js application, we go into the Node.js directory. You can see the different frameworks here. In this case, for example, if I want to contribute to the generic Node.js quick start, I move into the quick start folder, and I can see that there is like a configuration file, there is an alerts directory, a dashboard directory, and in this case also an images directory. I'm gonna ignore that for a while, but the dashboard directly contains a JSON file. And that's exactly the JSON file I just copied from within the Relic 1. So that makes it super easy. If you want to make an improvement, you contribute it back to the community, you create a pull request, and our teams will review and merge it in super quickly. So
yeah, and this is especially neat, like if you are an individual developer and you have sort of good big ideas about ways to do observability, of course we want to see that. Especially if you're working on an open source project, you're monitoring it, and you'd like to share, like, here's how you might do, the use of metrics. The other really nice thing, we had the CEO of Kentic, Avi Friedman, on a few weeks ago, and something I really loved is that he's like, hey, we have a new integration, but instead of it being like, oh, all of our engineers worked for 6 weeks to make this happen, it was just something that had been implemented as a weekend project by him. And so, if you're able to say, hey, we've got a product out there, we want to see some guide about how to monitor New Relic, you can just get that done this way without having it to be some massive partnership process, which I really think is great.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the thing I showed now is how do you improve a quick start, but to Nika's point, what if you want to contribute your own? Well, there is this template folder here. So what you can do is just copy this template folder, and then you'll find in the configuration file, you'll find examples and descriptions on kind of how do you populate this, and then you can just contribute your completely new own quick start. So that's another thing I wanted to call out. So yeah, with that, I think we talked about how to use it, how to contribute, and this is definitely a call to action. Anyone who is interested to be part of the New Relic IO community, have a look at our Git repository, try it out, and we're looking forward to your contributions. So I think that's about it from my side, folks.
Oh, that's so neat. I really, really enjoy that. And thank you so much for coming in to share this. It's really something where I want to see people get involved. If you're watching this a little later, do take a look down in the YouTube description to see those links. Ali dropped it in the Twitch chat as well. I just want to check for any questions from Twitch. I think we're good. So yeah, I think we'll start rolling into our next segment. So Stijn, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, thanks for checking it out, everybody. Oh, final plugs, right? Because maybe you're just watching this segment on its own. Do check out the Nerd Blog every Thursday. Check the links down below for us how to get involved or how to follow us on social media. Stijn, is there other stuff you'd like people to do? Do you want them to follow your TikTok account? Is your dog on Instagram? Are there other things that you'd like to plug?
Well, one last personal anecdote. I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. I have 2 goats. They don't have an Instagram account yet, so I'll fix that, and then I hope everyone will follow my goats account.
That's so
goats.
Cool.
That's a takeaway. What is the highest that your goats have ever gotten? They
climb like crazy. We have a bunch of I don't know the English word. Is it pallets? No, I don't like a wooden structure.
Yeah,
and it's 2 meters high, and they jump on top of it. The funny thing is, our fence is lower than 2 meters, but they don't jump over it.
Yeah.
They know they get food. They know where to find what they like. So far, so good.
I think they need to know that they're going to land somewhere, too. So like a narrow fence, they're like, I don't know what the plan is once I get to the top of that. Well, thank you so much. That's a fantastic way to end.